Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
Always a pleasure to have your company, folks. It is Players Week, and that is a stage upon which it is all unfolding. It is a delight to welcome into the program this morning Greg Hopfe, who is the Senior Vice President and the Executive Producer for PGA Tour Entertainment. And PGA Tour Entertainment, you may be familiar with because of the 4 channels weekly that stream, called the main coverage, the marquee group coverage, the featured group coverage, maybe the dedicated hole coverage. It can even be specialty coverage like we did for the Mexico Open with the dedicated Spanish channel. It is a way for you to see your golf from stem to stern, many times from the first tee shot struck until the very last for players that are amongst your favorites. Very unique, very popular, and available weekly on ESPN+. Delighted to have Greg on the show to talk about that, to talk about their new digs, to talk about everything that's going on right now at the Players. Greg, how are you? Are you getting any sleep this week?
We're doing okay, Matt. We're looking forward to Sunday night, but it's all good. It's a pleasure to do what we do here at the PGA Tour, and this is our biggest week. So thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on the program. So it's a question for me of where to start because there are so many different avenues with you right now. I guess the place that's amongst the exciting developments that you have is your brand new PGA Tour Entertainment headquarters. Could you give the world some sense of the scale of what you guys did?
It's pretty breathtaking. It is 165,000 square feet, state-of-the-art facility, spared no expense on technology. Compared to our other place, this studio has 8 control rooms and 7 studios,
Wow.
where our place in St. Augustine had 1 studio and 2 control rooms. And the biggest note about this, Matt, is it was built with the eye from the board on down of this being a facility 30 to 35 years. So we actually have 30% unallocated space, room for growth. So aside from those 8 control rooms, we can go up to 13 and we can go up to 12 studios. So it's not even close to the place we moved out of. And like I said, it's one of the biggest, best state-of-the-art facilities in the country.
There's no doubt about that, but the question, I guess, would be then, if you're looking forward 30 years, what is the vision? What's the reason why the PGA Tour and the board that you mentioned said, yeah, we're ready to make this kind of investment?
It's really about scale, right? I mean, prime example is this week we launched our first ever world feed. So that is going to over to 200 countries and territories in 30 languages, our product now. And what it allows us to do is, because we have this facility, we can bring in so many more feeds. We can bring up to 144 live feeds. So we're going to get every camera angle from the networks as well as our PGA Tour live feeds. And the facility, like I said, with the state-of-the-art infrastructure, allows us to scale up, right? So that's just scratching the surface. We're doing the world feed, and we can get a little bit more into that if you want to. But the dream or vision is this place allows us to do localized feeds, right? We could be doing down the road, we could be doing a Hideki Matsuyama feed for Asia, Victor Hovland for Norway. We could take on other tours, right? If they wanted to come in here and use this facility, or ask us to produce it, we have the room to absolutely grow. And it's really about just scale and being the epicenter of golf.
Yeah, it is really, really impressive, folks. As you guys know, I'm very proud to be a part of PGA Tour Entertainment and the coverage that we feature on ESPN+. I will be hosting one of those live world feeds coming up, I think, in a week and a half from now, approximately. So that world feed that you were talking about, you mentioned specifically just now, Greg, 200 countries. Did I hear you correctly?
That's right. Our international department, I can't get over my skis here. They have the exact networks and the exact regions, but to over 200 countries with 30 languages.
So how has it changed life for you in terms of having something of this scale had to mean that you guys had to expand in terms of the people whose hands touch the product that you do week in and week out?
We do, Matt, and you work closely with our team. We've had some expansion in producers and directors, and technicians for sure. Engineers in this facility is much more needed than the place we were at. And it's funny because golf is a unique sport, right? I've done different sports in my career, and golf is so unique. There's, you do baseball. I've done baseball, hockey, basketball. There's one stadium. There's one ball. There's a TV timeout, or the inning is over, and that's when you go to commercial. In golf, there's 18 stadiums. There's 18 balls in the air at the same time. There's no commercial timeout. So finding people that can do that and know when to go to break and know how to birdie from bogey, and you've seen how many people we have in here. We have 6 producers a week that are working just on ESPN Plus. That doesn't count the world feed. That doesn't count Korn Ferry and Champions Tour, which some people don't understand or realize that we actually do that for the Golf Channel. They air, but it comes right out of our facility. Champs Tour with Bob Papa and Paul Azinger, and Korn Ferry Tour with Shane Bacon and James Nitties. So we have the deepest and best golf production people in the country in this building.
Hey, Andrew, can you slow down this video for me just a little bit? Because we now have the very unique opportunity of having Greg Hopfe with us. And Greg, if you would do us the honor, as this drone flies through your incredible facility, could you do the voiceover for us? Tell us what we're looking at.
This is the 3rd floor where we have all our content creators, social media, original content, that whole area there, our live team. And when we designed it, it was so that they could all collaborate. We didn't have this in our old facility. And we are literally going over all the content departments. And this is the only area in the building that is designed for collaboration. The rest is kind of cordoned off edit suites. And then this is, speaking of which, this is an edit suite. There's edit suites, there's studios, there's control rooms, but that was really the biggest collab effort. A unique, interesting note here on the blue here is Gary Koch's Better Than Most call, the sound wave of that call. And we have a QR code now installed where if you go by there, you can actually click on it and you'll hear Gary's call. So that's a kind of a little Easter egg in the building. And then I'm pretty sure this is going to take a turn into one place we're really proud of, which is the executive screening room. We never had this before, and this is where, if Full Swing is debuting, we can have a team go in there. Our executive teams can screen in there and watch anything. I'm still trying to push for a
you
Super
are,
Bowl.
dude.
I'm eating some popcorn. But it's an incredible room and something that we've never had to show in our previous building or anything that I've worked in here at the tour.
It sounds very, very exciting indeed. I fear I could talk to you in our entire interview just about this facility, and folks, it would be with merit, I can assure you, because it has all the creature comforts too, including an incredible commissary, a cafe area where you can go in and get food that's the same quality as if you went out to a 5-star restaurant. It's that good. It's that impressive, and that's the level of class that they have done everything with in this building. You can tell why we're so excited about it. However, we are in the middle of the Players. And every year, Greg, you come on with us and you wow us with the latest technology and the latest innovations, and you've already done that, incidentally. However, let's get into the nitty-gritty in terms of the viewing experience and how people can consume and are consuming the Players in 2025.
Yeah, it's a big list. It started on Wednesday with the Rain Show on the Golf Channel. We've done 12 of those, or going to do 12 of them this year. That was earlier in the day, and then the second ever Creator Classic aired on YouTube, Golf Channel, and various platforms. That had the Bryan brothers, and if you watch the one in Atlanta, very similar fields, highly successful, probably a demographic a little younger than me, but still trying to reach a new audience with that. And then competitions days, it's busy. We have all 4 of our PGA Tour live streams. For the second time this year, we've done a betting stream, channel or stream 4, our feature hole stream. We'll have 2 hours of betting coverage. We changed the graphics package to look like ESPN Bet. If you've seen their material and their shows on their linear coverage, we have Jonathan Coachman, Graham Dillette, Kevin Clark, Pam Maldonado, all their betting experts join us. We do that for 2 hours, 4 days a week. And then we have our All Access Every Shot Live, which we've done for about 5 or 6 years now. The only event we've done this at, we station 144 cameras out It's a combination of entertainment cameras as well as NBC cameras. And so if you go onto our app or our website, you can pick any group, and there is no announce, but it's automated, and it pretty much goes with every shot. First hole, Ricky Fowler tees off, there's a catch, and then graphics come up, shot graphics, so it informs you of what's going on. There's also a kind of unique immersive technology that can really only be viewed. It's called Cosm is the name of the company, and they have facilities in Dallas and Los Angeles. It's the first time we're ever doing that, and they have massive LED screens. I get the sense, I've never been there, I get the sense it's kind of like the Sphere in Vegas, a little smaller, obviously, but they put cameras on 16, 17, and 18. So if you're in those facilities, you can see a very immersive experience. And then, as I talked about, World Feed launch, that's just some of the things that are going on here.
Now, your relationship with ESPN Plus obviously has been a part of the wings, if you will, that has brought all this to the world. Could you talk to us about how and why you decided to go with ESPN Plus, and how that relationship continues to evolve?
Yeah, well, again, that's a little bit more about our negotiation team, but ESPN definitely came to the negotiation table very serious about getting back into golf, right? I mean, the golf's been missing from ESPN and ABC for quite some time. So it was a perfect opportunity for the two entities to reunite. And it's been really great to have them back in the fold with us. And I think, from their perspective, I don't mean to speak for them, but I think it's been a win for them too. It's the highest, most consumed product on their platform. We have over 4,500 hours a year on it. I think it's tailor-made for them, right? Because most people in the office Thursday and Friday, and as you know, Matt, back in the day before we had this streaming service of any kind, you turn on the Golf Channel at 3 o'clock, Ricky Fowler's got a 65, and all you see is a 2-minute highlight package of them. Not only does ESPN show you all that untapped content that was out there on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings, but you also could tailor it and watch it anytime. And it's a second stream experience too, right? Like what I find interesting in looking at the numbers is on Sunday, let's just pick Rory McIlroy's, in the last group or the second last group. The network is still showing him, but our numbers are really good. And I think there's two things about watching someone play: that you can watch every single thing they do as a second stream experience on Sunday and Saturday, even during linear coverage. That's one benefit. The other benefit is I don't think people have ever really had a chance to see every single shot of a group or a player, right? It's interesting, and you probably have called these. Sometimes these guys shoot 75s, and you're seeing every single shot. And that's not something you see on network golf coverage. So you see that, why I struggle on Saturday and Sunday. Some of these guys are out there shooting 74s and 75s, and that's a struggle too. That's the tough side of things. We've also been lucky enough to have, I think, two or three first ever 59s where you've seen every single shot. Sneds was one of them. He was the first one. And if you think about it, like network coverage with all those other 59s, 58s, they were joined in progress, right? So we've had three that we've covered from start to finish where every shot's been captured and broadcast.
Incredible. And the neat thing about what Greg is discussing with you guys, when you watch the best in the world, that 74, 75 that he was referencing, many times we've seen a 74, 75 turn into a 68. So you get to watch that magic happening too. The other part of it that I love personally is that we have this forum and this opportunity to introduce you to players that you may not otherwise know very well. So you get to know their game. For example, he was referencing that 59 with Jake Knapp. We had that shot by shot. You had Brian Katrick, you had John McGinnis out there covering the whole thing. It was absolutely brilliant, and yes, historic coverage. One of the assignments that I enjoy in particular, Greg, is getting the featured hole assignment. And the reason why I like it so much is that for the people at home, you get to see the entire field coming through. So while we have featured groups, while we have marquee groups, while we have our main coverage, which is all great, when you are on that dedicated hole, you get to see an entire field play the exact same hole. How do they play it? How do they approach it? What shapes do they take in? What trajectories do they use? Do they rely on the putter? Do they rely on the wedge, etc.? I think it's absolutely fabulous. The question that begs to be asked, though, and you reveal as much as you please, Greg, How is ESPN feeling about the whole project? How excited are they with what's going on ESPN Plus?
Yeah, I mean, the feedback we've gotten from them is they're thrilled to have it. Thrilled to have us back in the mix. It's a nice compliment. Now they are back in the mix with Masters and PGA of America and PGA Championship, so it's expanded their golf portfolio. We talk to their executives at the end of every year, and Mike McQuaid, their primary golf executive, will call me anytime he wants and gives me feedback. But they really love what we do. Like I said, it expands their portfolio. It's one of the most consumed products on ESPN Plus, which if you look at all they have to offer, that's an impressive point right there. No and I mean, I think they love it.
Greg, Mike McQuaid and I started in the mailroom together at ESPN back in the day.
You guys have both risen quite a ways from that mailroom.
At least one of us, and he has. All right, Greg, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your company. You know, we're super pumped about everything that you guys are doing this week for the players and everything that you're doing at large. Congratulations to you and your team. Very much looking forward to seeing you guys shortly.
Yeah, Matt and Dom, thanks for having me. Appreciate, Matt, you being part of our ESPN team and our WorldFeed team. Looking forward to such an exciting product with you.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, folks, so this week of the Players' Championship is one of the most special weeks of the year for a whole variety of reasons. What we just heard from Greg is one of them, and he provided about 100 elements within that alone. That's how cool it is. That's how excited it is. That's what we have in store. Now, on the Fairways of Life show this morning, we do have more in store for you. There's a lot of stuff that I want to go through. I want to get to some player sound that I thought you guys would enjoy, some sound that is compelling. How will it make you feel relative to these players taking it to the tee tomorrow morning and beyond? That, as the Fairways of Life show continues.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
Innovation has been at the heart of every SuperStroke grip we've ever created, cementing our status as the #1 putting grip on tour. Now the best just got better. Introducing SuperStroke Synergy, our most advanced putting grips ever, for unmatched confidence to quiet your hands and your mind. Find the perfect grip for your game at superstrokeusa.com.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Super easy to hit. Introducing the new PXG Black Ops irons, our first game improvement iron.
It's a larger face heel to toe.
It launches the ball high in the air and really far.
Much higher levels of forgiveness. You set that club down, creates a lot of confidence. It's supported by this X-Core column material.
And that's where you get improved ball speed. If you're looking for a distance, forgiveness, and feel, Black Ops iron is going to be for you.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour Superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
Players Week, folks. We're pumped. Are you? All right, so I've got some sound for you. All the sound that we're playing for you would be kind of quick little clips today. And what we try to do, as you guys know, when we get to the eve of an event like this, is honestly, I think sometimes it's overdone and you get beat over the head. And by the time that the tournament starts, you're like, thank goodness we're watching golf being played instead of just talking about the prospects of what could take place at the stadium course. Ludwig Oberg was talked about prospects as well. And he was asked about getting some extra reps now that he's in the area.
TPC Sawgrass is one of my favorite golf courses because it's so straightforward and it's so in front of you. But but you still got to hit the shots. You have to execute. If you don't, you're going to get punished real hard. And but it's also, if you do execute the shots, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. So it is one of my favorite courses, and had the privilege to be able to play it now for a couple of months. And it's cool to have been seeing it and all the different wins. But most guys in the field this week, they've played this golf course plenty of times, and I'm not sure it's going to be a real advantage come Thursday, though. I think my lowest is maybe 7, something like that. It feels like every time I've played over the last couple of months, it's been cold and it's been blowing about 20, so I haven't been very scoreable. But it's a great golf course. I love the back nine. The back nine's got so many good holes. 12 when they move it up. 14's a strong hole. 16, 17, 18 is probably the best finish in my opinion, because you can not easy, but you can, if you hit the shots, you can go 3-2-3. But if you don't, you can go 6-6-6. So I like that type of golf, and if you want to win this tournament, you have to step up and hit some good golf shots.
So you guys know that Xander Schauffele has been dealing with coming back from the rib injury. Played last week, made another cut, continues on that march, which is a story in and of itself. But he was asked more of like an insightful thing, and because every human being deals with this, right? When there's something that you really, really want, how do you balance yourself in terms of your emotional commitment, your performance, and how that manifests itself?
I think it's however you shape it up in your head. I feel like it's good to have high expectations. I think for me, at least personally, when I really want something, I usually work and I'm motivated extremely hard to get to that point. And just like a dog chasing its tail, I feel like I'll just keep going until I get it. And I'm stubborn that way. And I'm not thinking about the actual end result when I'm trying to get it. I'm thinking about trying to do all the things correctly to get there. So it's extremely validating and rewarding when you're able to meet the expectations, and when you don't meet them, you just keep pushing and you keep working harder. I mean, definitely trying to win still. It may look differently in my head, or I may need to work extra hard to get to that spot compared to other weeks where I feel like I can kind of let my round come to me, or, have what feels like coasting through preparation a little bit more. I need to have a lot more intent, coming back to do the right things, so I don't go down a weird path too early. So the goal and the mindset are the same, though.
So probably you're getting the sense of the theme right now from the sound that John Burke had sent to us, because we're hearing from players in the here and now, getting ready to play golf tomorrow, but it's an opportunity for the world golf media to ask these players about a whole variety of things, knowing that in the world of golf, there are a whole variety of things taking place very much right now. One of them was with Justin Thomas. Now, you remember it was some 6 weeks ago when Justin Thomas sent a plea out to his fellow players and said, we need to start to change the way we do things. We need to be more engaged instead of less. We need to be more giving of ourselves instead of insular. He was asked how that's progressing.
I guess, I've been asked that before. I don't know if I'm probably the right person to ask. I'd probably honestly ask y'all or ask people that are watching more so. But I would say I've seen a difference in the broadcast and in our TV partners and stuff like that, which is, was a big part of it as well. It was a message to everybody. It wasn't just a message to players. I think it was like, hey, let's do we need to work with you guys need to work with us, y'all need to work with us, we'll work with y'all, and we're all on the same team, so let's make sure that we're all making progress together and we're not trying to hold anybody back. And I think that I feel like listening to the fans and making adjustments for the better in the broadcast and, how things are done and maybe coverage, whatever you want to call it. I think that some of that improvement that I've seen has not only shown in the ratings, but it's been taken well by fans. And you're always going to have negatives no matter what, but it's just about, getting obviously more positives and more people wanting to see the change and the effort. And I feel like that's been the case, but I don't know if it has anything. I'm not going to necessarily take credit for it by any means, but I would hope so at least.
It's almost as if the players give us our question of the day. And I'm not saying that Dom did this. I'm just saying he literally said, I'd be more interested in finding out what people who are watching think about the way that players are perhaps giving more of themselves, or are they giving more of themselves, or are you getting a deeper experience? And that goes to a lot of different things, including what Greg was talking about, where he was talking about full swing, trying to give you access behind the curtain, if you will. Now, in terms of what's going on behind the curtain in the negotiations with PIF, there were a lot of discussions about that yesterday. Discussions with the commissioner of the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan, who essentially said, look, I have no new input to give you today. I am not going to reveal information that would cause us to be negotiating through a public forum, but we are committed to seeing the world of golf reunified at its highest competitive level on the men's side of the game. But Adam Scott was amongst those who were a part of the discussions at the highest level, including alongside of the President of the United States. So he was peppered with some questions about what is the status right now.
I think so. I mean, I can't speak for them. You really should ask them. But yeah, I think the biggest hang-up is in how we see, the highest level of competitive golf going forward. The product of LIV and the product of the PGA Tour work in very different ways. So I think, the challenge is figuring out how that can come together and be really reunification, which is kind of what everyone is shooting for. I think there's an urgency for a result, no matter what. I think that would be in everyone's best interest, to be honest, whether you're the PIF, a player anywhere, or the PGA Tour. I think, this doesn't just need to linger. I think there are positive things happening in the game and at the PGA Tour, and that can continue to happen. I just think we hopefully will get to an outcome soon. That would be what I would like. So, I guess that signals urgency.
One of the players that definitely is causing a lot of reaction right now is Colin Morikawa with his press conference yesterday. We featured sound from Colin Morikawa yesterday, and when he spoke about the fact that he didn't speak to the media and why. He went on to say further that, and I'm paraphrasing, that he doesn't know anything to anyone. And that was the part that seemingly triggered a firestorm. Now, listen to that against the context of what you just heard. Justin Thomas recounting of what we need to do to show more. You heard from Adam Scott talking about what's happening behind the scenes and how badly everyone wants to see the game reunified in whatever definition that actually means. And against all that, you had Colin Morikawa kind of getting defensive and going, look, again, this is my words, not his. I blew it. I let another one slip away, and I wasn't in a place emotionally that I wanted to address it with anybody. And so, but he did use the term that I don't owe anything to anybody. Last night on Golf Channel's Live From, that panel hit him pretty hard. And I will not say that in that case, it wasn't without merit that a player should be taken to task for having that position, because you do owe something to everyone. You owe something out there to the people who are watching, the 99.99% that pay for you to have the job and the luxuries that you have. It's not just about what you do with club and ball in hand. It's about the opportunity to do what you do with club and ball in hand. The only thing I'd say to his defense, though, is that if you are going to take Colin Morikawa to task for what he said then you have to do the exact same thing with other big names in the game, including the likes of Rory McIlroy, who occasionally don't address the media. So it can't be selective in terms of who you attack and how outraged you are that they refuse to talk to the media because of a tough loss. It has to be uniform. It has to be equal. It has to be fair to all involved. So Colin Morikawa did speak, though, on a number of different things. And this is a cut that we didn't use yesterday because we found out from the commissioner about the new pace of play rules. He was asked about that.
I think it should be released. I don't know why you wouldn't want it to be released. And I think after talking to some guys, I think you just have to start stroking guys and giving guys actual penalties, whether it be strokes or FedEx Cup. What I've learned is that monetary fines are useless. We make so much money, and some guys, frankly, could care less about, I don't know how much the fines are, but whatever X amount they are. And I think they care more about playing good golf and making sure they make the playoffs and making sure they make, 70, 50, 30. That's where it hits hard. And I see no issue with it. I think, what is there to hide, right? If you're slow, you're slow. I mean, if you're not, if you don't know, then there's an issue. So to me, there's no issue with letting it out, right? It's only going to make things better because then you're either going to have a target on you, put a little more pressure, and hopefully you pick it up, or you get penalized. Like it's very simple. But I think the fans need to realize that slow play is not going to fix. If we pick up 10 minutes of pace of play for this week, the fans won't realize that at all, like zero. So that's not the issue with watching golf.
All right, so some fascinating stuff there that Colin Morikawa had to say, which is why John picked this particular cut. When he said that if you're slow, you know you're slow, I thought that was fascinating because as an old golf operations guy, I respect and I would even acknowledge his position on that for the best players in the world, they know if they're slower than the players that they're playing with. But for the 99.99%, I've never met a slow player that knows they're slow in the rest of the game. I just haven't. Most often when a marshal or someone else tells a group or an individual that they need to pick it up, they're usually offended. They usually go into a defense mode, even though that exercise wouldn't be engaged in unless, shockingly, you're slow. So I think it's interesting, and it's something that impacts the entirety of the game, not just at the professional level. I also question whether the pace of the best players in the world has any impact on the pace in the recreational side of the game. Does anybody look at the best players and try to copy their pre-shot routine as an example? The answer is probably to somewhat yes, but I don't think it's predominant. And I think that's been going on back in the day when people fantasized that they could play golf like Jack Nicklaus, and they copied his pre-shot routine, which by the standard of the rest of players in the tour in his day was pretty slow. But I just thought it was a fascinating discussion, particularly when he was talking about monetary fines, because honestly, all of us known forever that monetary fines are useless. But what he did was he defined it for us, which I appreciate and respect as well. Because what he said was, let's say that you're facing a fine of $5,000, whatever. Okay, by you going through your tried and true routine, the thing that you always do that you think is going to enable you to play better because this is how you play, will you make up for that $5,000 through better play? Think about that for a second. Really fascinating stuff. All right, I'm going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to hear from Scottie Scheffler. He is the defending champion. He's not only the defending champion, he's the two-time defending champion. He's trying to capture history. So when we come back, we're going to hear from Scottie Scheffler, not only in terms of where he would place what he did last year and the array of accomplishments that he already has in his distinctive career, But he's going to tell us the secret to playing TPC Sawgrass' stadium course. Stay with us.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The best feeling iron I've ever hit. Introducing the new Gen 7 irons, the greatest leap forward in irons technology, in performance, in PXG history. Our new quantum core material explodes off the face. Are you kidding me? The Gen 7 irons deliver groundbreaking new levels of forgiveness, speed, distance, and feel. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that trajectory. Just phenomenal. Gen 7, it doesn't get any better.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Innovation has been at the heart of every SuperStroke grip we've ever created, cementing our status as the #1 putting grip on tour. Now the best just got better. Introducing SuperStroke Synergy, our most advanced putting grips ever, for unmatched confidence to quiet your hands and your mind. Find the perfect grip for your game at superstrokeusa.com.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Every January, PGA Tour Superstore pros meet every manufacturer, learn about the latest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together hit over 100,000 balls. All so they can get you the perfect fit.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. It is Players Week. And here's a look at some of those distinguished names that have hoisted the hardware at the Players. As you guys know, golf to me, golf equipment to me, is a blending of art and science. And we are honored, we are delighted to inform that SuperStroke is now a part of the Fairways of Life family, the official putter grip of Fairways of Life. They were founded in 2009 with this radically different idea that putter grips otherwise were pretty much all the same. And since that time, SuperStroke has changed the game. Their grips have earned more than $500 million in majors and on tours, and they're helping golfers just like you around the world to play better. The most important club in your entire bag is your putter, full stop. It is the one club that you will use more times than any other in your bag during your round. When you have that art, and they are truly beautiful, you can see that, and when you have that science, What is your particular grip? What's the size grip that is best for you? What makes you most comfortable? Do you want a wrist lock grip? Do you want a grip that is counterbalance? Do you want a grip that has uniform dimensions from top to bottom? All of these questions can be answered with SuperStroke. And what's more, what do you want on your grip? How beautiful do you want it to be? And how much do you want it to be a reflection of your personality? That's part of the fun of SuperStroke as well. You can play your best golf because you can make your best putts you've ever made in your life by finally having the grip that is right for you. SuperStrokeUSA.com is the website where you can find more information. All right, folks, we are absolutely delighted that we have sound from the number one player in the world that won this event last year, Scottie Scheffler. That won this event, the year before. He's trying to win it for the third time. And to win it for the third time, that would mean he's going to tie he who has won this event 3 times, the most of anybody else, and that would be Jack Nicklaus. Pretty good company to keep, right? He would be the first one to do it 3 times in a row. That's how rare the air is that Scottie Scheffler is breathing right now at the stadium course. So where do we start with Scottie Scheffler? I definitely want to know what I was teasing you about before we went to the last break, which is what's the secret to the golf course. But let's start with this. Scottie, where would you place that win, your second in a row at this event in 2024?
You know, I would say last year this whole tournament was one of the best performances I've had in my career for sure. I think the way I played injured Friday and Saturday to just keep myself in the tournament was, you know, it took a lot of fight, a lot of heart. Definitely did not play golf the way I normally would, but I was so comfortable with my swing at the time that I was able to chip it around and play weird shots and somehow make pars and make some key birdies when I needed to. You know, I think about late on Saturday, birdieing the last 3 holes to give myself just an outside chance and getting off to a good start on the front 9 the next day to put myself up near the lead. You know, I fought really hard all week to have a chance and was fortunate at the end of the week to get it done. Playing good. I mean, you can't fake it around this place. I think there's a lot of genius in the way the golf course is designed. You know, there is some volatility in terms of the hazards. That provides a lot of volatility for how the golf course can play, especially in high winds. But at the end of the day, you know, I think there's a lot of genius in the golf course. Like you look at a hole like number 1, it's a fade off the tee, it's a draw into the green. You look at number 2, it's a draw off the tee. 4 is a fade off the tee. 5 is a fade. 6 is a draw. 7 is a draw. It calls for different shots on each hole. And you have to work the ball both ways. You have to play shots. If there's no conditions, you can play a little bit of robot golf, but at the end of the day, I think you got to show up, play shots, do things differently. I mean, the golf course provides different challenges each year. You know, on a soft year, if it's soft and windy, you got to really control your golf ball, hit a lot of chippy shots, control your spin around the greens. And then if it's firm and windy, you also got to control your spin, but at a different way, at a different height. And then if it's not windy and firm, you know, you got to work the ball into the pins because the greens are firm. And I mean, the golf course can just challenge you in a variety of ways. And I think that is what makes it a great test. And it doesn't suit one type of player. And I think some of the results you see here over time for guys where it's not a horses for courses type place. It's just the guys that are playing the best are going to be on the leaderboard on Sunday. That's plain and simple.
Pretty interesting perspective there from Scottie Scheffler. How do you feel about Scottie Scheffler coming into this week? He spoke specifically about what he called conditions, and then he also mentioned wind. So, Dom, let me jump over to you for a second, if I may. Talk to me about what you're seeing. Do you have the official forecast from the PGA Tour? What are they saying it's going to be?
I do. I have the official forecast. Thursday, it's going to be sunny. It's going to be 75. There might be some wind kicking up in the for the afternoon groups, 10, 15 miles per hour. Friday, 73, same thing, mid-70s, gorgeous out. The wind is forecast 8, 10 miles per hour right now. Saturday, it's going to get gusty.
Oh!
Saturday, it's 77 degrees. South-southeast winds, 15 to 25 mile per hour winds with gusts reaching 30. So that's going to be a thing. That's going to be an issue. And then I'll read again. This is from Wade Stettner, the PGA Tour's meteorologist. This is the paragraph about the extended forecast officially. A quiet weather pattern is forecast through Friday, and dry conditions and seasonal temperatures. A southeast sea breeze is forecast to develop on Wednesday and Thursday, with winds becoming more easterly on Friday. Winds are forecast to increase on Saturday ahead of an approaching front. This approaching front is forecast to arrive late on Sunday with breezy conditions and a possible chance of thunderstorms. So that's where an issue comes in. It depends on how late that front arrives on Sunday as to whether or not it's really going to impact tournament play. And right now, I've seen the forecasts going both ways on that. So that's kind of up in the air. But no doubt, Saturday, it's going to be windy.
Very interesting.
And on that golf course, that's an issue.
Yeah, it definitely is. Especially on 17 on that golf course, too, and 18.
That's right.
It's very much a question. Okay, let's take a look at some of the tee times that they have put together for us here in studio. And these tee times also illustrate, with that little asterisk, who will be amongst the featured group coverage that Greg was talking about earlier. You can see now. Obviously, this is not all. Don't worry about those who are saying, there's a lot more than that. Yes, this is just the ones they picked out. Obviously, 8:46 a.m. round one. Thigala, Fitzpatrick, Zalatoris will be going out bright and early. The first asterisk that you see is Ludwig Åberg, Hideki Matsuyama, and Justin Thomas. They are followed by Russell Henley, Shane Lowry, and Victor Hovland. We went through the prospects of a lot of these players yesterday. Wyndham Clark, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth will be at 8:46 a.m. on Thursday. In the afternoon, 1:07 p.m., Daniel Berger, Minwoo Lee, Rasmus Højgaard. There you see at 1:29. Rory McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler, Xander Schauffele. At 1:40 p.m., Morikawa, Scott in Fleetwood. At 1:51, Bradley, Fowler, and Cantlay amongst those that we are featuring. As to your air times, let's get you up to speed on how, when, and where you can get your players coverage. It starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Golf Channel. On Saturday, the start time is at 2 p.m. on NBC. Sunday at 1 p.m. on NBC. All that stuff that Greg was talking to us about earlier, Thursday and Friday coverage kicks off at 7:30 a.m. on ESPN Plus, multiple channels bringing you all that action and all that depth that Greg was talking about. Saturday at 8 a.m., Sunday at 7:30 a.m. You can find it all on ESPN Plus for PGA Tour Live. PGA Tour Radio starts Thursday at noon. You can find it on Sirius XM if you pay for the national satellite service, or you can get it for free as well on the PGA Tour app and on PGAtour.com. On Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern will be the start time on the radio, and Sunday it will kick off once again at noon Eastern time on the radio. All right, so let me ask you, Don, before we say goodbye on this Wednesday and get everybody off and ready for everything that lies in store with the players, did you do a question of the day?
I did do a question of the day, but I just closed that box. Hold on a second. It was around the stuff you were talking to me about early in the show when you said, I wonder if Dominic did a question on this. Oh. And the answer was yes, I did do a question on it.
Oh.
Hold on a second. I will read you the question, and then I will tell you what the results of that question are.
Okay.
Do you feel like you are getting a deeper experience or more access with today's pro golfers? No. 63% say no. Mm-hmm. And that, again, has a lot to do with some of the sound that we were hearing, and obviously Justin Thomas's message to the public and to the tour from several months back.
Yeah.
I guess that's not a surprising response. Honestly, I'm surprised it's not higher, but.
No, I think we've talked about this before. In order to get a change, yes, the players have to engage differently, but the gatekeepers of the players' time, what they bring to the player in terms of interest, starts with the agents. And if the only criteria is based upon what commercial impact it's going to have on the person that you represent, then you're going to continue to have what we've had for the last almost 30 years, which is situations where the top players in the game are going to be available based upon how it impacts sponsors, how it impacts the bottom line, and the start of media interaction when it got to this level was Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods, and it was a very simple dynamic. It was based on that dynamic of when you engage, how you engage, where you engage, and what you talk about has to be on the exact template, whether unspoken or not, that has to be adhered to. And if you fail to adhere to that, you're going to lose your access. So right now, I think the players are overprotected, over-coddled, and over-entitled when it comes to access, because the people that you're denying your ability to get at because they don't represent immediate return are the people that pay for everything else that everybody involved in this, including us, have the ability and the honor to enjoy. All right, so speaking of Tiger Woods, there was some sad news that came out this week, of course. Tiger sending out the following tweet: as I began to ramp up my own training and practice at home, I felt a sharp pain in my left Achilles, which was deemed to be ruptured. This morning, Dr. Charlton Stockton of Hospital for Special Surgery in West Palm Beach, Florida, performed a minimally invasive Achilles tendon repair for a ruptured tendon. Quote, the surgery went smoothly, and we expect a full recovery, added the doctor. I am back home now and plan to focus on my recovery and rehab. Thank you for all the support. We wish Tiger the very, very best in his healing. And we wish you the very, very best as well. And thank you so much for your company. Until we are together again, be well and goodbye for now.